Hello everyone, it is Caitlin, and today we are making 1830s hair pieces, buns, and curls. Alright, so we're going to make a bun and curls today. We're going to start with the curls, and yes, they are already curly. I don't like the way they curl. They don't curl very evenly. They don't look great. Like, these are very flat. So we're going to uncurl it and then recurl it. So these are actually curls I did before, and we're going to do it a different way today. So I'm going to go ahead and brush these out a little bit. And I'll put a link to where I bought these. I bought them from Amazon. The little bangs. Oh, they kind of look better when they're fluffed out like that. Alright, we're going to spray them with some water. Kind of saturate them. And start brushing it out again. It's okay if it's still a little curly. Here comes the cat, checking out what we're doing. And I got some sponge curlers, which I used to use a lot as a kid. So we're just going to start taking bits and make a curl. Okay. I think I'm going to curl them actually down. I wonder if it actually matters. Make sure it's nice and straight. There we go. Let's keep doing that. Making sure to get all the hair. And about the same amount of hair each time. And these were super straight when I bought them. Apparently, apparently curling irons do curl these really well because it doesn't like to uncurl itself. So that's a good thing at least, but I didn't like how the curls themselves turned out, so we're doing this again. You know, I'm finally remembering how tedious curling hair is. I'll never curl my hair. Anyway, I don't do heat, and I don't have the patience for this for a full head of hair. That, and I always wear my hair up, so curls really wouldn't do anything. If you look at my hair wrong, it tangles, so I don't ever leave it down. Alright, fun. Yay. So, what I'm going to do next is actually put it in a pot of boiling water for a few minutes to really use the heat. And then we're going to set it out to dry for a couple of days. But first, I gotta do this one. Just in case you were wondering, this is what boiling hair looks like. I do have them upside down so that the curls are getting the maximum amount of heat. They've been going for about 5 minutes. I might leave them for a few minutes more, and then we're going to take them out and let them dry. And we'll see how well this works. Alright, so I have here some Kaneculon hair, basically braiding hair. And I have it in a dark brown because that's the closest that matches my natural hair color. This is what it comes like. I got 3 lengths. It came in a package together. You know, and then I also have the ribbon that I dyed that actually turned out really good. It didn't turn out black like I was afraid of. It turned out very close. And what I think I'm going to do is tie off these ends, which of course I don't want to use an elastic. See how well that stays. Now I'm going to braid it, and it's quite long because I did unfold it. Last time I braided it in half, which worked just fine. Oops, there's a piece I missed. Darn it. I'll take this piece off and use it for something else. If this comes out really thin, we're going to be folding it back in half. But I didn't think that it will. So I'm just going to braid it. So I'm just going to use a 3-part braid, as one would normally do. We're just continuing to braid all the way down. That's a good sized braid, I think. That looks very natural. So I'm going to continue braiding all the way down the length, making sure to keep my ends separated so they don't knot themselves up. Trying to keep it looking fairly nice. If parts of it don't look great, we'll hide that, so it's fine. Now, if your natural hair is super thick, you don't even need to make these hair pieces. You could probably do the braided bun on the, by itself, and you may only need the curls unless you have bangs. I don't have bangs in my hair, although very long, and it looks really thick. It's actually pretty thin. So it doesn't give me the thickness that I want. And one end ended up being way longer than the other two, which is weird because this is all the same length a second ago. So we're going to go as far as we can without looking too ratty. That's about as far as I can go. I'm going to take one of my ribbons and I'm going to start just wrapping it really tight. Several times, and then I'm going to loop it up under to make a little knot, maybe. There we go. And I might do that another time. Give myself 2 knots and cut a little bit of that off. And then I'm also going to cut the excess hair off, maybe. Awesome, so now I have a braid. I'm going to go ahead and cut the end of this ribbon off as well. And I am going to cut this down a little bit too. Alright, so now I have a braid. Now I'm going to need some thread because we're going to sew this bit together. And I might need another braid. We're going to see if we can get away without it. If I do need one, it probably won't need to be as long. So we're going to start at the top of our bun and work our way down. So what I want to do first is make sure that this end is hidden. So I'm going to start by making, kind of just looping it around like this. And I'm going to start my needle, because I have a knot in the end of my thread, right in the middle of all this silk. Oops, I didn't build enough knot. But you want it to catch it and not come out. So let me try making that little knot again. There we go. Go right where that silk is and come back out. Easier if you get it in the silk itself. That's why we put it in there, or one of the reasons. You do want to make sure if you have a lot of hair that's going to fit into this bun, that you want to make sure that there's a big enough hollow in it to actually accommodate your hair. It can be as messy as you want on the inside. You might want to be careful, make sure your stitches aren't too big and noticeable from the outside. Eventually you're going to get towards the end and we're just going to tuck these ends under as soon as we get there. Just not quite there yet. Continue kind of tucking this under. I'm going to work with this edge just a little bit and kind of just from the inside kind of connect it, make sure it's not all fuzzy. I'm going to do it a couple times. I'm going to start knotting it off. Alright, and there I have a bun, and this is going to fit over my hair, just like that. It kind of looks like a beehive to me, little beehive hair. I think it turned out really cute. I would definitely wear that. At this point we're just waiting for the boiled curls to dry, and then we'll basically be done. We'll try it all on. And see how they look and see if we need to fix anything. I've decided I'm going to make another braid, mostly because I just want something slightly different, and if I wanted to change the hairstyle up just a little bit, have some option. So I have another length of the same hair, and we're also going to use some pomade this time that I made. So I'm going to go right ahead and start by doing what we did last time, just tying off an end. Just tie it off. There we go. Now we have something to work on. I did brush this through beforehand so I don't have the tangling issue I had last time, hopefully. So, I'm going to take some pomade. This is stuff I made from a period recipe. I'm going to kind of push it in there. I have like my boar bristle brush, which is going to help distribute all those oils. But I'm just doing exactly what we did before, which is braiding all the way down, trying to catch those little flyaways. Pomade does not seem to be doing too much, except for now my hands are really oily. And to be totally fair to the hair, like it started out pretty tingly because I think the cat got to it. And so it's just been one tangled mess after another. And I already got tangles in it again. So I'm going to continue attempting to braid this. And hopefully at the end I'll have a braid. Alright, so I am braiding. I ended up getting a new braid altogether, a new length of hair, because the other one just drove me insane. So this one's working much better. I did put pomade in it, just like we discussed. So my hands are really oily. They're very well hydrated. And the pomade is helping the hair stick together, you know, a little bit more. Not terribly, but it is helping a little bit. I am learning that you need to pull all the strands out each and every time that you cross over. Pull all the strands out all the way. You know, my hair is so fine and doesn't stick to anything, so I'm not used to working with hair like this. That kind of sticks to itself. So that's just, you know, something I just had to learn. The other length of hair is in the trash right now because I'm mad at it. I'll pull it out in a little bit. I promise it won't go to waste. We're going to keep it for when we eventually do another video like this, but we're going to do evening hair. And to make the little Apollo knots, we're going to do that probably at least partially in fake hair. Probably entirely in fake hair. And then I'll wrap my real hair around it. Which should give an interesting effect considering that my real hair is very light and this is darker. But when I pomade my hair, the top part of it looks this color. And so when I pile my hair on top of my head, when doing 1830s hairstyle, my real hair looks like it's the fake hair, and then I cover it with this, which looks more natural, which is the most interesting thing in the world. And this time, I'm going to do something that's flatter than the one we just did. So not quite the beehive shape, but more or less a something that's wider and flatter. I see that quite frequently in paintings. Kind of like the look of it. It's going to require me to do my natural hair a little differently because I tend to just pile it. There's my needle. It was on the floor. Found it with my foot, which is very typical. I usually find my needles with my feet. At least this one wasn't sharp. So we're going to start with the top. And I definitely want it to be, you know, be wider than the other one. I don't know if y'all can hear on camera, but the dog is snoring over in the corner. Let's see if I can move the camera. And the cat's sleeping over there. Still missing a dog. He's probably on the couch. This is like making a bonnet. Making the bonnet tip. Making it flat all the way around. So last round I was keeping the hair flat. Now I'm putting it directly to the side in an attempt to kind of elongate it this way. Alright, we're getting towards the end here. I'm going to have to probably change out my thread though, maybe. I'm hoping I can make it. See how it's like flatter and wider? I'm going to stick this inside here. There's going to be like no room for my actual hair. We might have to do some end control with another piece of thread to try to get those to a point where I can actually fit my real hair in there. By the way, the silk ribbons are working way better than elastics because elastics would add quite a bit of bulk. And these do not, and they're holding really well. I use ribbons to hold my actual hair sometimes, like with braids and that sort of thing. And just tie a cute little bow at the end. But I don't need to do that for this because this doesn't need to be pretty on the inside. I'm going to cut this a little bit shorter and hope I don't regret that. Like you can actually see in there now, which is a good thing. I'm going to cut this a little bit shorter. So pomade somewhat helped with the flyaway issue, but not enough to where I'd say it was worth it. I don't know. Maybe I just don't know how to work with this type of hair. Alright, so I was actually editing this video and realized that somehow I have lost the footage of taking off the curlers from the curls. Here's the cat again. She hears me talking. I'm not entirely sure what happened because I lost some footage last video as well, and I was filming them at the same time, so I don't know really what happened to that. But anyway, this is what they look like. I did take the curls and I kind of split them in half, each one. If I were to do it again, I'd probably just use twice as many curlers. But it still works. There's this one curl that tries to be a little bit ridiculous. I just keep pushing it down. I need to get a hairpin and just pin it down until it stays there. But they're staying very well. I haven't had any issues like with them trying to deplete themselves. They look like they're going to stay. I would have preferred probably that they be more vertical rather than horizontal, but there are images of, you know, original curls that are horizontal like that, so I'm okay with it. I think I would have personally preferred the vertical ones. But anyway, that's kind of how they turned out. I'm sorry the footage got lost, but really it was me just taking curlers out. So they kind of just naturally did this on their own. So yeah, this is what the backs look like. Not very peri-correct. I think eventually I would like to, with some of the extra hair from the buns, make a peri-correct set that like ties. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I'm not very good at this whole sewing, seaming bit, but I'm thinking, you know, get some really nice cotton or silk net, and I think I can manage it. It's just going to take some work. I have seamed hair before because I've made curls from my 1850s and 60s, and that was ribbon with the hair. And I think this is the same situation, and I think I could do it. When we do the Apollo knots in the next hair video, we'll try making those. So this was just kind of a trial run. I'll use these for now. I think they turned out really well, but eventually I would like to replace them. So I'm going to pin this down because it just like sits up. It doesn't look bad though, like it looks natural. But yeah, it just kind of needs to be good down just a little bit. But other than that, they turned out really well. And let's go ahead and cut to me putting on all the hair and seeing how it looks like on. Alright, so I thought it'd be very useful to show you like how I was going to use these. And so this is like, I look ridiculous. But this is how I get these, my hair. Because see, my hair is long. This is actually the shortest part of it because I tend to like yank through my hair. But they don't curl, or they'll curl for a few minutes, but then they're like straight again. So it doesn't matter what kind of product I use, they will not stay curled. And even when they are curled, they're way too long for 1830s curls. I just kind of wrap them around my fingers like this, put them here, and use lots of hairpins to anchor them in place, usually around 4. I can get it with 2 bobby pins, but they didn't use bobby pins, they used hairpins. So I'm trying to get used to hairpins. There. And so yes, it looks ridiculous. And I have the rest of the hair piled up here. This is where we're going to use this that we made. So put it on. And I'm getting better at the Y part, but I'm not quite there yet. So it's, okay, so that's very secure. And it is like where it needs to be. It could probably be centered a little bit more. That was my own fault. I don't have the greatest of vision, and I'm not wearing my glasses. So I'm trying to use the camera as a mirror, but at the same time I can't see to the camera. So I can like see movement. I think that might be straight. We'll see. So there's that part, so you can see how that looks. And I did not use any pomade today, so I have like wispies coming out, which is not period. But I'm going to pin these up for right now. And of course when I would actually use this I'd wear pomade. But that's that one from the back. I'm getting better at my hair, but I'm not great with 1830s hair yet. So let's put on the curls. Now that I have these little anchors, that one's really sitting funny. Can you see the difference between the one that I did with the mirror and the one I did without the mirror? Okay, curls. we're just going to set that in. There. And do the other one. Okay, so I went to the bathroom for a second just to kind of fix things, because again, I can't see anything. So I did have to put a few more pins into this because it was kind of pulling itself out, but that's mostly my fault because I didn't get my bun anchored. This hair right here is kind of loose and therefore it's just like lifting up. That's my own fault. That's not the hairpiece's fault. And then I moved these a little bit further forward. But yeah, that's an 1830s hairstyle. All the way around. I have no idea what it looks like back there, so I apologize if it's weird. But it's not the hairpiece's fault. But yeah, that's a very good 1830s style. It's heavy, but no heavier than what I'm used to for 1830s because I have put my hair, and then because my hair doesn't braid very nicely, not the really big thick braid that looks like a really nice 1830s bun, I have to use fake hair. And so I'm used to wearing fake hair, and it's just a lot of stuff just piled like right here. But that's just the 1830s. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It definitely looks 30s. I'm getting better at the Y part. I'm not fantastic yet. I am still working on it, but it's getting there. I managed, the center part's fine. It's this part, I need it to go this way instead of this way. It like almost looks like an inverted W or like an M right now. It's an M part. I'm looking for a Y part when you look at original photographs and that sort of thing. What I did just recently learn, actually yesterday, as I was looking for pictures of buns, I learned that I was doing my middle part wrong. So I was doing my part all the way back, and that's not necessarily what you see in paintings. You see the middle part just for the bang part, and then everything else is kind of taken out. There is no part right here. So I learned that. So I will start using that now, which is what I was trying to do with the hair. My hair doesn't, the center part doesn't go away very easily because I usually wear my hair in center part, or either at or side part, but my hair does not do no part. It just doesn't. So that's why it was really funky right there, and that just needs, I get pomade for period, I'll use pomade for period hairstyles. So like that's gonna take care of that. It looks like an 1830s hairstyle, so that's good. I think the curls actually did turn out. I don't think I'm gonna redo either one of them. I think they look fine. I like them better than what they were, so as long as they ended up with something that was better than what we had, I think it's a good thing. But yeah, that's essentially hairstyle number one, the really high one. Let me go get my 1830s bonnet. We can see how it works with the bonnet. Oh yeah, it's gonna fit. There's my 1830s. I guess I really kind of needed my cap before I put my bonnet on, but there it is with all of its lovely glory. It looks so weird with my modern clothes, my period bonnet. 1830s are just weird. They're not my favorite time period, but I live in Texas, and it's Texas Revolution, so it's like a big deal here. So, getting into the 1830s because of Texas. I love my state. That's the only reason I'm doing this. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've slowly started appreciating the insanity of the 1830s. I can have ridiculous people. I'm okay with that. So, that's basically what the 30s is. Alright, I'm going to take this bun out without disturbing the curls, which should be interesting. And I'm going to try to put the other bun on. And we'll come back and look at it. And here's the second one. This one's far shorter. But I think it mimics that shape, like the rounder, the flatter, but like more circular shape that we did see. So yeah, that one's, it's not as heavy as the other one, even though I use the same amount of hair. But I think because the hair is spread out instead of like just piled, it doesn't feel as heavy. Let's try on the bonnet. It needs to fit the bonnet. Hey, that fits really well. Yeah. So that's fun. I actually really like this one. I really thought I'd like the other one best, but I think I actually like this one best. It looks really nice. And it doesn't look as crazy. I think the other one, it looks 30s, which is great. Like, it looks 30s. But I think I prefer this one. So, yeah, that's 1830s hair pieces. We're going to do another video eventually with like the little Apollo knots and like more evening styles, but I don't ever attend 1830s evening events, so that's not necessarily on the radar anytime soon. Maybe like the next 2 or 3 years, somewhere like that, when like more events start rolling around and we start having things again. But for a day wear, this is perfectly appropriate. I like this one a lot. I like the other one too. I just think I prefer this one. Which this one I see more often in, portraiture. So that works. So yay. 1830s hair pieces. Yeah, I keep moving my head around because this one really isn't as bad as the other one. It's strange. They're very secure though. Like the curls and everything. Like I can really move my head and nothing's falling out. Nothing's really moving. So that's always a good thing. You don't ever want to lose your hair. I've done that before. Luckily, it was the 1860s, and I was wearing a hairnet, so I didn't even notice it. No one even pointed it out. It was really weird. But I had like a bun sitting like right here, so it was stretching out my hairnet, and I didn't feel it until randomly I decided to move my head really fast, and my bun like flipped around. I was like, oh well, that's strange. But fortunately, I was wearing a hairnet because I didn't lose my bun. You want to make sure you have your hair pieces pinned in really well when you're wearing fake hair. But yeah. I do find it interesting, like when I wear 1830s hairstyles, that most of the hair that you see is not attached to my head. It's still mine. I bought and paid for it, but it's not. It's not attached to my skull. So you just see, like, I guess in the back you kind of do, which I really need to work on that back. But again, pomade's gonna fix everything. But yeah, like on the front, you really don't see my hair very much at all. But when I take this off, but if I take this off, it looks like I'm wearing fake hair because the ends of my hair are so much lighter that against the contrast of this, it looks like fake hair. But and when I wear pomade, it like really, really stands out. It doesn't stand out as much today because I'm not wearing my pomade, which makes my hair darker. So that was a lot of fun. So I feel confident with my 1830s hairstyle now. I would feel okay going to an event and wearing this type of hairstyle. Until then, have a fantastic week, and I will see you back here on Monday.